The snow whispered softly, falling in delicate sheets like silent tears over the quiet streets of Pine Valley. Under the gentle glow of a flickering porch light, a little girl in a lavender dress stood trembling, eyes wide with worry, searching the shadows for the father who hadn't come home. Before we begin this heartfelt journey together, please take a moment to share in the comments where you're listening from tonight, as we find warmth in each other's company through the chill of this unforgettable story. Snow gently fell over Pine Valley, blanketing rooftops in shimmering white, muffling the sounds of the small Montana town as it settled into a restless slumber. Inside a modest wooden house on Maple Lane, Emma Davis pressed her small hands against the cold glass of the front window, staring anxiously into the thickening storm. Her lavender dress, chosen by her mother Olivia to bring brightness to the gloomy evening, now seemed fragile against the backdrop of darkness gathering outside. Emma was 8, slender and fair, with bright hazel eyes always filled with quiet curiosity and a gentle warmth that drew people to her. Tonight, those eyes reflected only worry and fear. Her father, Sam Davis, had promised he'd return home before dark. A strong, rugged man with short brown hair, speckled gray, and warm eyes, Sam was a forest ranger respected throughout Pine Valley. He never broke promises, yet tonight was different. Evening had passed into night, and his reassuring laughter had not filled the house as it always did. Hunter, the family's German shepherd, raised his head from where he lay curled near the fireplace. 7 years old, with a rich coat of black and tan, Hunter had sharp, intelligent eyes that never missed a detail. A former rescue dog trained for emergencies, he'd retired from active duty after a leg injury. Still, his instincts were as keen as ever, his spirit fiercely protective, especially when it came to Emma. Tonight, Hunter felt the unsettled energy radiating from the girl, her worry vibrating like an invisible thread through the room. Emma sighed softly, stepped away from the window, and moved toward the coat rack. Hunter stood immediately, ears perked up in alert anticipation. He watched carefully as Emma reached for her thick winter coat, slipping it over her slender shoulders. Hunter let out a soft whimper, sensing this decision was wrong, dangerous even, yet understanding her resolve. Without hesitation, he moved toward her, gently brushing against her leg, reassuring her she wasn't alone. Quietly slipping out the door, Emma and Hunter stepped into the snowy darkness. The wind picked up, stinging their faces with icy shards, making Emma pull her coat tighter around her small frame. The world outside was eerily quiet, the soft crunch of snow beneath their feet, the only sound as they slowly made their way toward the forest edge. Emma clutched a small flashlight, its weak beam casting ghostly shadows that danced among the towering pines. Hunter moved cautiously, staying close to Emma's side, his sharp senses alert to every subtle shift in their surroundings. His thick fur, dusted with snowflakes, bristled slightly with protective vigilance. They moved deeper into the forest, following the path her father usually took. Each step brought more uncertainty, the snow growing heavier, muffling visibility, erasing familiar landmarks, turning known trails into winding mazes. Emma's small frame trembled slightly, not just from cold but from growing apprehension. Her voice quivered softly as she called out, "Dad? Dad? Are you there?" Only silence returned her calls, the snow swallowing her words. Hunter, sensing her fear, pressed closer, his presence a comforting anchor amid the encroaching darkness. Suddenly, the wind gusted violently, stealing the breath from Emma's lungs, sending shivers down her spine. Panic surged in her chest, tears forming quickly. Hunter paused, sensing her distress sharply now, and moved to face her directly. Their eyes met, a quiet exchange of trust and courage passing between them. Hunter gently nudged her hand with his nose, signaling silently to trust him. She swallowed her fear, her small fingers gripping his collar tighter. "Find Daddy, Hunter," she whispered softly, her voice barely audible over the howling wind. With quiet determination, Hunter took the lead, his powerful paws pressing confidently into the thick snow, guiding Emma deeper into the unknown. His movements were deliberate, purposeful, each step taken with the unwavering commitment of a protector who understood the importance of his task. The night was long, the storm relentless, but neither would turn back now, bound by a shared resolve to find the one they both loved most. In the frigid darkness, a little girl and her loyal dog continued forward, each step a promise, a prayer, a hope that refused to fade. The snowstorm intensified, wrapping Emma and Hunter tightly in its icy embrace. Thick, swirling snowflakes now obscured everything around them, transforming familiar paths into an endless, disorienting maze of white. Emma's breath turned to shallow gasps, her small frame shivering violently beneath her lavender dress and winter coat. Each step drained her strength further, and panic began to creep steadily into her heart. Hunter sensed her growing fatigue. His powerful body moved closer, shielding Emma from the harsh winds. His dense black and tan coat, now dusted heavily with snow, offered her a fragile barrier against the bitter cold. His dark eyes carefully scanned their surroundings, determined to keep Emma safe despite the overwhelming darkness. "Hunter, I'm tired," Emma murmured weakly, her voice almost lost in the storm's roar. She stumbled slightly, knees trembling. Hunter immediately pressed against her side, steadying her gently. His gaze remained reassuring, silently encouraging her to keep moving, even as exhaustion threatened to claim her. Yet, Emma's steps grew slower and more uncertain, each stride heavier than the last. Eventually, Emma's legs gave way beneath her, causing her to sink helplessly into the snow. Her cheeks were flushed, bright red, but her lips had begun to turn a pale shade of blue, the telltale signs of encroaching hypothermia. Fear flickered in her hazel eyes as tears streamed quietly down her cheeks, instantly crystallizing in the freezing air. Hunter's heart tightened, knowing he needed to act swiftly. Carefully, he circled Emma, using his large body as a barrier against the icy winds, creating a cocoon of warmth around her fragile form. Lowering himself, Hunter gently curled around Emma, providing warmth through the steady rhythm of his beating heart and thick fur. Emma instinctively clung to him, burying her face deeply into his comforting warmth, her trembling easing slightly as she listened to his steady breathing. The minutes stretched into hours, but the storm showed no mercy, relentlessly pounding the ancient Montana forest. Emma's condition continued to deteriorate despite Hunter's vigilant care. The once vibrant little girl now drifted in and out of consciousness, murmuring her father's name softly, each whisper weaker than the last. Hunter whimpered softly, his heart heavy with sorrow and worry. He knew Emma could not survive long without proper shelter and warmth. Determined to protect Emma at any cost, Hunter nudged her gently, urging her to rise once more. His soft, persistent nudges and comforting whimpers finally roused Emma enough to sit up. He gently gripped her sleeve, pulling her slightly, his intent clear. Summoning the last reserves of her waning strength, Emma shakily stood, holding tightly onto Hunter's thick collar, trusting him completely as he led her through the blinding storm. Their journey was painstakingly slow, Hunter pausing frequently to ensure Emma could keep up, each pause causing his own anxiety to rise, knowing every lost minute placed her at greater risk. Yet Hunter pressed forward, guided solely by his finely honed instincts, sharpened from years of training. He sniffed the bitter air carefully, searching for any hint of shelter, any slight promise of safety from the merciless cold. Finally, his keen senses detected something familiar in the distance, a faint scent of stone and earth. Without hesitation, Hunter led Emma towards the scent, guiding her toward a small, sheltered cave tucked securely beneath an overhang of rock. Emma collapsed gratefully inside, curling immediately into a tight ball as the world spun around her. Hunter swiftly settled beside her, pressing his warm body protectively around her fragile form, desperate to preserve the precious life he had vowed to protect. Emma drifted into a restless sleep, feverish and weak, yet comforted by Hunter's steady presence. Hunter kept watch over her throughout the night, his attentive eyes never leaving Emma's pale, delicate face. He listened intently to her labored breathing, deeply aware of the delicate balance between hope and despair. Outside, the storm raged fiercely, but within the small cave, their bond provided an unbreakable shelter, a testament to loyalty, courage, and unwavering love. As dawn's faint light began to soften the edges of the dark, frozen landscape, Hunter raised his head, ears alert, ready to confront whatever challenges lay ahead. For now, though, he stayed close to Emma, his silent promise clear: he would never leave her side, no matter what. As daylight gradually pushed back the lingering night, Hunter's dark eyes remained vigilant, watching Emma sleep restlessly in their tiny stone refuge. Her breathing was uneven, punctuated by faint, feverish murmurs that tugged painfully at Hunter's heart. The German shepherd knew they couldn't remain here long. Emma needed warmth and medical attention beyond what he could offer in this isolated cave. Yet outside, the woods remained blanketed by relentless snow. Gently rising, Hunter moved to the entrance, peering cautiously into the wintry dawn. The storm had calmed somewhat, though its heavy cloak of snow had transformed the forest into an alien landscape of indistinct shapes and silvery silhouettes. His keen senses picked up faint traces, subtle scents and marks in the snow that hinted at a possible path back to civilization. Hunter's heart quickened with determination. It was a fragile hope, but hope nonetheless. Carefully, he nudged Emma awake. Her eyes fluttered open slowly, glazed with fatigue and illness. "Hunter?" she whispered weakly, her voice barely audible, tinged with vulnerability and trust. He responded by licking her face gently, reassuring her with quiet confidence. Understanding his silent message, Emma mustered the strength to stand, leaning heavily on Hunter's sturdy frame for support. Together, they emerged cautiously from their temporary shelter into the crisp morning air. Each step was a monumental struggle for Emma, her thin body trembling with exhaustion, yet Hunter patiently adjusted his pace to match hers. His powerful form moved steadily, carefully tracking faint impressions in the snow, following distant echoes of familiarity, memories deeply etched into his mind from past rescues. Suddenly, Hunter stopped, ears erect, muscles tensed. A low growl formed deep in his chest, a warning that brought Emma to an immediate halt. From the dense cluster of pines emerged the shadowy figure of a wild animal, a lean, gray-furred coyote, its yellow eyes gleaming with hunger, drawn by Emma's vulnerability. Emma gasped softly, gripping Hunter's collar with trembling fingers. Instinctively, Hunter stepped forward, positioning himself protectively between Emma and the approaching threat. The coyote growled softly, taking careful, measured steps closer. Hunter's stance remained firm, his hackles raised, his entire body radiating determination and readiness. His eyes never wavered from the predator's cautious movements. Emma stood frozen, heart pounding loudly in her chest, completely dependent on Hunter's bravery. In a flash, the coyote lunged, snapping viciously towards Emma. Hunter reacted instantly, intercepting the attack with a fierce snarl, his powerful jaws clamping firmly around the attacker's flank. A fierce struggle ensued, their bodies tumbling in the snow, a clash of survival and loyalty against primal hunger. Emma watched helplessly, tears filling her eyes as the terrible sounds of the fight echoed painfully through the still forest air. After several tense, agonizing moments, Hunter finally gained dominance, forcing the wounded coyote into retreat. Panting heavily, Hunter returned to Emma's side, blood matting patches of fur along his neck, a stark testament to his courageous sacrifice. Emma dropped weakly to her knees, hugging Hunter's sturdy neck tightly, sobbing quietly with relief and gratitude. His steady heartbeat comforted her, a rhythm of unwavering devotion. Exhausted yet driven by urgency, Hunter gently urged Emma to stand again. Each step forward became a testament to their mutual resolve. The distant shape of a road appeared faintly through the trees, a beacon guiding their weary steps. Hunter pressed forward, knowing this path could lead them safely home. The morning sun rose higher, casting a gentle golden glow across the snowy terrain as they finally reached the edge of the forest. In the distance, Pine Valley's rooftops appeared, chimneys releasing faint wisps of smoke, signaling warmth and safety. Emma's steps faltered as relief flooded her body. Hunter paused, allowing her to rest briefly, his comforting presence reassuring her they had survived the darkest of trials. Looking into Hunter's loyal eyes, Emma whispered softly, her voice trembling with heartfelt emotion, "Thank you, Hunter. You saved me." His eyes sparkled warmly in response, silently pledging to protect her until she was truly safe once again. Side by side, girl and dog moved slowly toward their waiting home, bound forever by a journey through darkness into the safety of the morning light. As Emma and Hunter drew closer to the outskirts of Pine Valley, the town itself buzzed with a desperate urgency. Olivia Davis, Emma's mother, paced restlessly at the community center, her usually bright blue eyes shadowed by fear and exhaustion. Olivia, a gentle woman in her early 30s with wavy chestnut hair pulled loosely into a bun, was well loved in the small community for her kindness and warmth. Now, worry carved lines of tension into her soft features, and each passing hour intensified the ache in her heart. Townspeople gathered, their faces somber yet determined, preparing flashlights and warm blankets, coordinating plans to scour every inch of the surrounding woods. Sheriff William Hartley stood at the center of the search effort. A sturdy, compassionate man in his 50s with graying hair and calm green eyes, he had known the Davis family for years. "We'll bring them home, Olivia," he reassured her gently, placing a comforting hand on her trembling shoulder. His voice was steady, yet beneath its calm tone was the shared dread everyone felt. Meanwhile, the faint glow from distant streetlights offered Hunter a spark of hope amid the overwhelming darkness. Emma leaned heavily against his powerful frame, each step taking immense effort. Her skin burned with fever, her breathing shallow and rapid, and Hunter felt a renewed urgency. The girl's condition was deteriorating rapidly, and he knew she couldn't last much longer without proper care. His own injuries stung painfully, each step a reminder of the violent battle he'd faced, yet Hunter's determination never wavered. The biting cold gnawed at them mercilessly, and Hunter's heart ached with every weak moan Emma uttered. He stopped, gently licking her cheek in reassurance, before quickly assessing their surroundings. Not far from their current location, he sensed the familiar scent of human activity, a path frequently traveled by townspeople. This discovery filled Hunter with fresh resolve, and he made a difficult choice. Emma could no longer continue on foot. Carefully nudging her toward a nearby fallen tree, Hunter encouraged Emma to sit, her fragile form trembling as she sank gratefully onto the snowy ground. "Hunter," she whispered weakly, her eyes fluttering with exhaustion. Hunter gently pressed his forehead against hers, communicating his love and determination through this quiet, tender gesture. Emma's eyes closed, breathing unevenly but steadily, trusting Hunter implicitly. Knowing time was short, Hunter turned, stepping back into the shadows of the snow-covered trees, driven by the instinctive knowledge that he needed help urgently. Each stride took him farther from Emma, yet each heartbeat propelled him forward with renewed purpose. His paws pounded the frozen earth, muscles aching, exhaustion clinging stubbornly to his bones. Still, Hunter pressed on, his loyalty unyielding. Back at the community center, Olivia's gaze darted anxiously toward every approaching vehicle, her hope dwindling as the night stretched endlessly onward. Suddenly, from the shadows near the edge of town, Hunter emerged, limping heavily but resolutely. Olivia's eyes widened in disbelief. "Hunter!" she cried, rushing toward him, dropping to her knees in the snow, tears of relief flooding her eyes. Hunter nudged her urgently, tugging gently at her coat sleeve, clearly indicating that they must hurry. Olivia understood immediately. "Emma's alive," she whispered breathlessly, her voice trembling with hope and urgency. The gathered townspeople swiftly mobilized, following Hunter's unwavering lead back toward Emma. Sheriff Hartley quickly coordinated the search party, his steady presence anchoring the townspeople's rising hope. Flashlights pierced the lingering darkness, their beams illuminating the path Hunter tirelessly retraced. Each step Hunter took burned painfully, his wounds reopening slightly, but the German Shepherd refused to slow down, driven solely by love for the little girl he'd sworn to protect. Finally reaching Emma's location, Olivia rushed forward, scooping her daughter gently into her arms, sobbing softly. Emma stirred slightly, her fever-glazed eyes opening briefly to meet her mother's loving gaze. "Mama," she murmured weakly, a faint smile appearing briefly on her pale lips. Hunter sank down beside them, utterly spent, but eyes still watchful, guarding them both with quiet vigilance. Sheriff Hartley watched the emotional reunion quietly, moved deeply by Hunter's unwavering loyalty and courage. He knelt beside the exhausted dog, stroking his thick fur gently. "Good boy, Hunter," he murmured gratefully, his voice filled with genuine respect and admiration. As the townspeople carefully carried Emma back toward warmth and safety, Hunter followed closely behind, never letting the young girl out of his sight. The night was far from over, yet the first rays of dawn hinted at brighter moments ahead. Through courage, loyalty, and unbreakable love, Hunter had once again led them toward hope. As the rescue party carefully carried Emma back toward Pine Valley, Hunter abruptly halted, ears erect, senses sharpened by an instinct that had saved countless lives. Olivia glanced back, her tired eyes now wide with surprise and confusion. "Hunter?" she called softly, uncertainly. The German shepherd stood unmoving, staring intently toward the shadowed woods, muscles taut with urgency. He turned his head briefly to meet her gaze, dark eyes pleading silently for trust and understanding. Sheriff Hartley noticed immediately and raised his hand, signaling the group to pause. "Something's wrong," he whispered softly. "Hunter senses something out there." In the stillness that followed, Hunter raised his head and emitted a single, clear bark, powerful yet gentle, echoing through the frigid air like a beacon of hope. Olivia felt her heart tighten, realization flooding her. "Sam," she breathed quietly, hope mingling sharply with fear. Hunter moved decisively forward, his gait steady despite his exhaustion and injuries. Sheriff Hartley nodded once firmly, signaling the rescuers to follow without hesitation. Flashlights illuminated patches of snow and tangled brush as they hurried behind Hunter's unwavering lead. Guided purely by intuition and the subtle hints only a trained rescuer could sense, Hunter navigated the challenging terrain effortlessly, never wavering in his determination. Every step forward felt both urgent and impossible. Yet the German shepherd pushed onward, driven by a profound sense of duty and loyalty. After what felt like an eternity, Hunter stopped abruptly beside a snow-covered embankment, his sharp eyes peering downward intently. His deep bark pierced the silence again, urgent and insistent. Sheriff Hartley swiftly stepped forward, shining his flashlight carefully into the ravine below. His beam revealed a startling sight. Sam Davis lying motionless near a fallen tree, his body partially obscured by drifting snow. "Sam!" Olivia cried out desperately, her voice breaking with relief and anguish. Sheriff Hartley immediately signaled the rescuers to descend cautiously into the ravine. Hunter swiftly made his way down, his paws finding stable footing, guiding Olivia carefully toward her injured husband. As they reached Sam, Olivia fell to her knees beside him, her hands trembling as she gently touched his pale face. "Sam," she whispered softly, tears slipping freely down her cheeks. At her touch, Sam stirred weakly, eyes slowly opening. "Live," he murmured faintly, recognition dawning gradually in his weary eyes. Olivia sobbed openly, pressing her forehead against his gently. "You're alive," she breathed gratefully, holding him tightly. Hunter stood close by, quietly watching their emotional reunion, fatigue evident in his posture but pride and relief clear in his steady gaze. Sheriff Hartley quickly assessed Sam's injuries. He was cold and weak, but thankfully stable enough to move. The rescuers carefully lifted Sam onto a stretcher, wrapping him in thick blankets to combat hypothermia. Olivia walked beside him, never letting go of his hand, whispering reassurances and prayers of gratitude. As they slowly emerged from the dark woods, Pine Valley came into view again, its welcoming lights glowing warmly, promising comfort and healing. Hunter led the way, his courage unwavering, his dedication evident in every careful step. By now, dawn had fully broken, bathing the landscape in gentle shades of gold and pink, offering the promise of a new beginning. Upon reaching the community center, townspeople gathered, waiting anxiously, erupted into heartfelt cheers, relief radiating warmly through the crowd. Emma was safe, and now Sam had returned as well, their beloved community whole again. Hunter, finally allowing himself a moment of rest, sank down beside Emma, who reached out weakly to gently stroke his fur, whispering softly, "Good boy, Hunter." Her voice was filled with genuine love and gratitude, making Hunter's heart swell with quiet pride. Olivia embraced both her husband and daughter tenderly, tears of joy and relief streaming down her face. Sam, now more alert, gazed lovingly at his family, his voice rough but filled with profound emotion as he softly said, "Thank you, Hunter. Thank you for bringing my family back to me." Sheriff Hartley stood nearby, quietly moved by the powerful reunion unfolding before him, deeply aware of the extraordinary loyalty and bravery Hunter had shown. "Hunter," he murmured softly, placing a gentle hand on the dog's shoulder, "you truly are Pine Valley's guardian angel." Outside, the morning sun rose higher, brightening the snow-covered streets of Pine Valley, casting away lingering shadows and replacing them with warmth and hope. In the hearts of everyone gathered, gratitude overflowed, not only for the safe return of Emma and Sam, but also for the quiet, unwavering courage of a German shepherd who had answered the desperate call from the darkness and guided them all safely home. In the quiet hospital room at Pine Valley Medical Center, sunlight poured gently through the window, painting soft golden hues across Emma's pale face as she slept peacefully. Beside her bed, Olivia and Sam Davis held hands tightly, eyes locked on their beloved daughter, each breath filled with gratitude and lingering disbelief that their family had made it through the storm intact. Nearby, Hunter lay quietly at Emma's bedside, his strong body finally allowing itself a well-deserved rest. His thick black and tan fur gleamed softly in the morning sunlight, hiding beneath it the scars and fatigue of the arduous journey he'd undertaken for his family. Though his eyes were half closed, his ears remained alert, always attuned to Emma's steady breathing and the comforting voices around him. Dr. Laura Bennett, the attending physician, a kind, middle-aged woman with silver-streaked auburn hair and a compassionate presence, entered softly, clipboard in hand, her smile gentle yet reassuring. "Emma's condition is stable," she began warmly, looking thoughtfully at Olivia and Sam. "She's improving steadily, thanks in no small part to Hunter's courage. Had he not found help in time, we could be having a very different conversation right now." Olivia's eyes filled with fresh tears of relief as she nodded gratefully, glancing affectionately toward Hunter. The story of Hunter's bravery quickly spread throughout Pine Valley, touching hearts and restoring faith within the tight-knit community. Soon, visitors began arriving at the hospital, their voices hushed with awe as they shared how deeply moved they had been by the German shepherd's unwavering loyalty. Hunter humbly accepted their gentle strokes and quiet praise, his tail thumping softly against the cool tile floor. Among the visitors was Pastor Jonathan Reed, a respected figure in Pine Valley, whose calm blue eyes reflected years of wisdom and empathy. He gently approached Sam and Olivia, placing comforting hands on their shoulders. Sometimes, he spoke softly, glancing toward Hunter with genuine admiration. "Miracles don't come in grand gestures, but through quiet acts of bravery and devotion. Hunter has reminded us all of the strength of loyalty and love." The Davis family smiled gratefully, knowing Pastor Reed's words captured exactly what they felt in their hearts. As days passed and Emma regained her strength, Hunter remained constantly at her side, watchful and protective. One afternoon, Sheriff Hartley arrived at the hospital accompanied by Mayor Evelyn Harper, a graceful woman in her late 50s known for her kind heart and calm presence. They carried with them a medal engraved with Pine Valley's emblem, a humble yet powerful symbol of gratitude from the entire town. Kneeling beside Hunter, Mayor Harper gently placed the medal around his sturdy neck, her eyes moist with sincere appreciation. "Thank you, Hunter," she whispered softly, her voice carrying profound respect. "You've shown us all what it means to be truly selfless." Weeks later, the Davis family finally returned home, the warmth of their house offering comfort and healing after the trials they had faced. Friends and neighbors gathered to welcome them back, their faces radiant with genuine joy and relief. Hunter stood proudly beside Emma, who was now fully recovered, her bright smile illuminating the room. She lovingly rested her small hand on Hunter's back, gently stroking his fur as she leaned into his comforting presence. That evening, as Pine Valley's streets began to quiet beneath the gentle blanket of a fresh snowfall, Olivia sat quietly by the fireplace, watching Sam play softly with Emma on the living room floor. Hunter lay contentedly nearby, his eyes reflecting the peaceful happiness of the moment. Olivia smiled softly, realizing how profoundly Hunter's courage had not only saved their lives, but had also healed deep wounds of fear and doubt, stitching together their family's hearts more firmly than ever before. Outside, the gentle snow continued to fall quietly, covering the earth in a serene blanket of purity and calm. Hunter raised his head, gazing thoughtfully out the window, understanding in his wise eyes that he had fulfilled his greatest purpose: to protect, to love, and to restore faith within his family and community. For the people of Pine Valley, Hunter had become more than just a hero. He had become a living reminder that hope, courage, and unwavering love could guide them safely through even the darkest storms. As the evening shadows stretched softly across the snow-covered landscape, Pine Valley settled peacefully into the night, knowing their guardian angel watched faithfully over them, bathed in the gentle glow of dawn's promise. Sometimes, the greatest lessons come wrapped in quiet acts of loyalty and love, reminding us gently that true courage lives in selfless hearts. If Hunter's journey touched your own heart today, please take a moment to subscribe and join our community where stories of hope continue to inspire and comfort. Together, we can share warmth, one heartfelt tale at a time,